Okay. Hello, everyone. God bless. I have a presentation uh, from the book, chapter 4. So, today we are talking about keeping conflict under control and what the Bible teaches us about leadership in times of tension. Conflict will be part of everyone's life, it is a part of a Christian life, part of a pastor's life, and every leader's life. There is no church without conflict. If a church has people, it will have different opinions, personalities, and expectations. But conflict is not automatically a bad thing. In fact, when it is handled well, conflict can lead to growth, clarity, and spiritual maturity. The real issue is not whether conflict exists, but how we manage it as leaders. In this session, we will look at biblical confrontation, the role of gentleness, how congregation experience conflict, and what we can learn from the leadership of Nehemiah. Conflict is inevitable. We cannot avoid conflict. Conflict is normal. It exists in families, workplaces, governments, and churches. Conflict is not a sign of failure. It's often a sign that something is growing or changing. New ideas create tension, different perspective creates friction, and change almost always bring resistance. Our goal as leader is not to eliminate conflict, but to manage it in a way that honors God and strengthens the church. When conflict is handled biblically, it does not destroy, it refines. So what does the Bible teaches us about how to confront the conflict? Most of the time, the biblical confrontation is misunderstood. Confrontation does not mean attacking someone or humiliating them or yelling at someone or trying to win at all cost. The biblical word behind confrontation is exhortation, which literally means to come alongside someone to help them walk in the right direction. The purpose of confrontation is restoration, not domination. As the Word of God says in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The goal is always healing, clarity, and unity, not victory over another person. The key word here in this verse is gentle, the gentleness. There is power in gentleness. Gentleness is one of the most powerful tools in conflict resolution. Raising our voices does not make us more spiritual or more biblical. Harsh words do not bring spiritual transformation. Paul told Timothy that the Lord's servant must not quarrel, but must be kind, patient, and able to gently instruct those who oppose him. God works through our truth, but we must not forget He also works through our tone. Even when someone is wrong, correction should be delivered with humility and grace, trusting that God, not our volume, brings conviction. What are some of the conflicts that churches experience? Some of the conflicts that churches experience are worship styles, youth ministry changes, money and facilities, leadership decisions, change versus tradition. But underneath this issue is usually something deeper: fear, control, insecurity, or selfish desires. As James chapter 4 verse 1 says, that conflicts come from desires that battle within us. Most churches' conflicts are not really about the issue, they are about the heart. So, how can we manage the conflict in a healthy manner? First, we should understand that we cannot ignore it. Avoidance does not bring healing. Second, we must listen carefully to all sides, even opinions we disagree with. Third, we have to separate the issues and deal with one concern at a time. And fourth, involve both sides in the resolution process so people take ownership of the solution. Healthy leadership does not silence voices, it guides conversation. Different church sizes has different conflicts. For example, in small family churches, conflict is often suppressed. In pastoral churches, the pastor becomes a bridge between groups. In program churches, staff and department conflicts are more common. In large or corporate churches, diversity increases complexity, and not everyone is emotionally invested in every issue. As churches grow, the pastor role shifts from doing everything to equipping leaders to handle conflict well. There is something that we can learn from the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah gave a very good model for a leadership. Nehemiah gives us a powerful biblical model for confrontation. We know that Nehemiah faced ridicule, discouragement, threats, and internal divisions. The greatest danger did not come from outside enemies, it came from injustice and division within the community. Nehemiah addressed the problem directly. He spoke clearly. He confronted publicly when necessary, and he demanded accountability. He understood that the work of God cannot move forward while injustice and divisions are ignored. There are some valuable leadership lessons we can learn from Nehemiah. Number one, it is okay to get emotionally involved, but we must not sin. Number two, we must think before we speak. Number three, we must confront the right people at the right time. And finally, above all, unity must be protected if God's work is to continue. Biblical confrontation strengthens the church, it does not weaken it. In closing, conflict is unavoidable, but destruction is not. Biblical confrontation is loving, courageous, gentle, and truthful. Leaders are called to model humility, integrity, and faith in God's process. Paul said, "Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ." That is our calling as leaders to confront when necessary, love always, and trust God with the results. Thank you. And may God gives us wisdom and grace as we lead his people. Have a nice day.